Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Boom, let's do this. This gal, Gabbard, is a sharp gal. She's talking about things that a lot of the Democratic friends don't want to do, and she has had a media blackout. Bernie Sanders, a lot of the leading Dems don't like him. Hillary's bashed him again. She screwed him over in California. Dems have their own agenda and people they'd like to see, and we're going to hear a little more about this.
He's forging forward. You have filed a defamation lawsuit against 2016 presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, seeking $50 million in damages over her remarks about you, that you and your political campaign are Russian assets, she said. Where does that stand? Give us the status of the lawsuit and assess for us why it is that the establishment seems to ignore what the people want and just want their own plans in place.
Well, let me address that first before I talk about the lawsuit, because it's a very real thing, and we've experienced it. You know, we've been in New Hampshire, and we're campaigning there and in other states across the country, but have been challenged by almost a complete corporate media blackout. If you compare, for example, to Pete Buttigieg, he has had 11 national televised town halls. I've had the opportunity to have just one in the last year since my campaign began. So it's created a difficult situation both for me to get my message out there, but for voters to be able to make their best informed decision in this primary about who they'd like to see lead as commander-in-chief. The lawsuit, the papers have been served. I think the first court date has been set. And I think it's important to understand that, you know, this is not just another political thing where one person said this, the other person said that. The accusation that Hillary Clinton has made really devalues the very essence of who I am. This is about my life, and this is about the oath of loyalty and service, willingness to lay down one's life for our country that every single one of our servicemen and women make. And I am not willing to stand by to allow her or any of her powerful allies and partners to take such an action, which is why I filed this lawsuit.
Well, it's really ironic, given the fact that when you look at actually what has taken place in terms of Russia and Hillary Clinton, it's almost like she seems like she's in bed with the Russians more than anybody. You know, she paid for the dossier, which started in Ukraine, and it had information from Russia. She paid for that dossier against Donald Trump. She also accepted, what, $145 million from a Russian company. She sold a quarter of the uranium of the U.S. stockpile of uranium, and yet there's no conversation about any of that in the mainstream media, and yet she can just go on these radio shows and say, you're a Russian asset.
Now, this is an important thing, because if the media was fair and unbiased, they'd be seriously talking about the criminal activity of Hillary Clinton. And I believe she deserves to go to jail. And they are not talking about her deals with uranium one. They're not talking about her deals with other things that she's been paid through Russia and other places. I just don't think it is equal and fair to any degree.
And your whole campaign is a Russian asset, and yet she's the one who's been dealing with the Russians.
And to this day, she has still not only failed to provide any evidence or any basis for such a ridiculous accusation, given the facts which are, I have dedicated my entire adult life to serving our country, making a decision after the attacks on 9/11, like so many Americans, that I wanted to dedicate my life to preserving the safety, security, and freedom of the American people, and have done so throughout my service in the Army National Guard and throughout my 7, now going on 8 years of service in Congress. So again, this is why the use of her powerful...
She's been in the Army National Guard. I don't know what other military she's been in, but I don't think she's been in active war combat. I could be wrong. I've got to do some more research on this gal.
platform to devalue the service of myself and every other serviceman and woman in this country cannot be allowed to go unchecked.
Chelsea, how much longer can you go? When does the money run out? I mean, are you going to just keep going in these races even if you keep coming in 5, 6, 7?
Well, we're continuing to carry our message here in South Carolina and doing everything we can to overcome the media blackout, to overcome the challenges, and actually just speak directly to voters. If given this opportunity, I think voters understand really clearly how they want and they need a commander-in-chief who will get our priorities back on track. And that's what I bring. You know, I bring a new, fresh generation of leadership with a fresh perspective on how we solve problems, along with the background and experience to turn that vision.
Again, she's not getting the coverage she needs. She's a sharp young gal. But the bigger issue here is, why is the media giving her more time? Why don't they like her? Maybe she has the integrity that can't be bought off and they hate her because of it. That isn't talked about. But if she has the integrity that she can't be bought off or coerced, then they don't want her as a player. You need to understand what's going on behind the scene with the media and propaganda and with the deep state. If she can't be bought off, they don't want her. So they're going to do everything in their power to defame her and to make sure that she is not a serious presidential candidate. Unfortunately, sad but true, politics is a very dirty business. Good day.